All right, everyone gather around and see what roles you're going to play for today.
I got director, guys. I got director.
I got host.
Me too.
All right, hold on. You're all going to find out what roles you're going to play because...
Education Today starts now!
Welcome to Education Today. I'm Victor Carlesi.
And I'm Emily Mitchell.
From Katanning High School in the Armstrong School District.
Today we are bringing to your home a special treat. Normally the first school plays do not take place early in the school year. They take a lot of time and preparation, which makes it difficult to do a fall play. But that's why tonight's episode is so special. Elderton High School took on such a challenge on November 10, 2010 when they performed 2 separate plays to celebrate Veterans Day.
Today we have 3 students who took part in the performances back in November. Katie Jacobs, John Wissinger, and Ryan Sharp. Welcome to Education Today. Would you please introduce yourselves for our viewers?
I'm Ryan Sharp.
I'm Katie Jacobs.
I'm John Wissinger.
We are going to talk about the play here. But first, are either of you involved in any other activities at the school? I ask because a lot of our students are involved in many things at our school, and it helps give our viewers a greater appreciation for everything that you guys do.
I was in soccer and basketball.
I was in cheerleading and soon to be volleyball.
I'm in wrestling.
Cool, I also played soccer. I understand that there were 2 plays that took place. What were their names and what was each play about?
The first play is called Memorial. In Memorial, I played the father, and my son died in war. Suddenly, my son came back in remembrance, and everyone in the whole family was astounded.
The other play was War Letters. I was the mother, Karen, and it's mainly about her husband that goes to war, and throughout the whole play they are writing letters back into each other, and he's also writing letters to his daughter and his mother, which is played by Tara Cravener and Tiffany Smintana. They just write letters, and during the end of the story they're counting down the days, and it's less than 2 weeks, and they get a letter saying that he has died in a crossfire.
And you, John?
I was Billy, the fallen soldier, and I came back to see that all my family has moved on, so I had to move on.
You also had to move on.
And what were your roles in these performances?
I was Karen, the mother, and she's kind of like emotional sometimes. Like when he's not around, she's really emotional.
Like I mentioned, I'm the father of Billy
Okay.
in the play.
And you said you are Billy.
Yeah, I am Billy.
Okay. Let's go back and talk about each play. Can you elaborate more on the story behind your character and overall plot of the play?
Karen was really emotional when she wasn't around Jack, but when she was writing letters to him, she was trying to hold it back so he wasn't worried about her, so he wouldn't get off task and everything. But on the inside, she was just bursting with emotion.
Sounds like a very complex role that you're playing.
I can really relate to her if that was in the situation.
Mm-hmm.
I know that there were both evening performances and one during the day. When did these performances take place?
The assembly took place in the morning at about 9 o'clock, and the other in the evening took place at about 7.
So all of your fellow students got to see the one during the day, and then your parents got to
Yes.
come and see the one
Yeah.
at night. Okay.
How did you feel performing in front of the whole school?
It was very nerve-wracking. It was definitely...
Before the play for us during the assembly, at the night, the band was playing, and the 3 people in our play were marching around the stage before, and the curtains were closed and everything, and we were all excited, and our energy was pumped and everything, so it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Okay, we are going to take a short break and then come right back with more of Education Today. Stick around.
Before I came to IUP, I had no idea what college would be like or what role I would play or where I'd be in the future. But when I came to IUP, everything changed. I met people who really made me feel like I belonged. I had great classes at a great nationally ranked university. Hi, my name is Megan Miller. I'm a fine arts major, and this is my university.
And we're back with the Armstrong School District Education Today. We are talking with 8th grade students Katie Jacobs and John Wissinger and the freshman Ryan Sharp from Elderton High School about the Veterans Day Assembly and play which took place on November 10th, 2010. This play was also part of the school's Veterans Day Assembly. What else took place during that assembly?
President Obama's proclamation was read, and each veteran got received public recognition.
That's great.
How many veterans were in attendance? Was there a difference in numbers between the evening and afternoon performances?
Well, we were told the numbers would be low because of every school in the district was having their Veterans Day Assembly that same morning. So we weren't really expecting much, but it turned out to be 20 veterans in the morning and 30 veterans at night.
It's actually a pretty good turnout. Let's go back to the plays again. Was this your first role in a play? If not, what other performances have you been in?
This is my second. Last year I was in Helped Him Trapped in a High School. So this is my second.
Was it a comedy?
Oh yeah. it was
Sounds
funny.
pretty funny by the name.
I was in several different plays. I was in Help I'm Trapped in a High School, West Shamokin last year, and I also did Pecos Bill the year before that. So
This is my first play.
Oh, it's your first one?
Yeah.
Are you going to continue playing?
Yes, I'm going to try for the spring play.
And what was it like preparing for these special performances?
It was hard because you had to be quick, quiet, and like if you dropped just a piece of anything, everybody would notice because they had a silent movement of silence, and then they did they sing with the chorus, but we had to be really quiet. But with all the help of our stage crew, we made it through.
Mm-hmm. It can be very nerve-wracking sometimes. I know from
definitely,
experience.
yeah.
Was it difficult to get everything ready to go in such a short period of time?
Yeah, it was. We had to, because everybody had either a big piece of furniture, and then they all had little things. If you just missed that one little thing, you were you just couldn't go on.
You could throw
without
the
it.
whole
Yeah.
scene off. Yeah.
And what was your favorite part about the entire event?
Well, you want to go? Doesn't matter. Seeing all the veterans come out to the show, and we just want to show them how much we love them to support for our country. And
you get a
to do
chance
that.
to give back.
Exactly.
Because
to
they
give
gave
back
so
to
much.
them, yeah.
My favorite part was seeing the large turnout from the community and all the support from the community.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought that the drama club did a very good job, and afterwards we went and had a little party. So I think everybody did a really good job.
Yeah, it's always a good ending to a tough night. What was the toughest part about the performance?
The toughest part was when somebody messed up their line, and they were supposed to say their line, and I had to say 2 lines in a row, but it went smoothly and it worked out. So
The audience won't know. So.
no, they didn't notice. I didn't say anything, but they still thought we did pretty good.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure it went really good.
And overall, is there anything else you would like to add?
You guys should come to our spring pick because it's gonna be pretty good.
And what's that going to be called?
We don't know. We're still searching for titles,
Yeah.
but
Oh, okay.
it should be finding out soon. So we'll let you know.
And are all 3 of you going to be in it?
Let's hope.
Yeah.
Well, we hope the auditioning process goes according to your plans.
I hope to see you there.
Well, that's our show for today. We thank our guests from Elderton High School, Katie Jacobs, John Wissinger, and Ryan Sharp for being on our show today, and for bringing them to our studio for taping. Our thanks also go out to the TV production students of Katanning High School, led by their teacher, Mr. Don Swanson. They were our film crew today. Please join us again next week for another look at Armstrong School District. Visit our website for updated information about the district, and have a great week.
Welcome to Education Today. I'm Chris Garatano, Armstrong School District's multimedia technician. Today we are bringing to your home another special treat. We have with us Shannon Walker, Victor Carlesi, and Emily Mitchell, all from Katanning Senior High School, the very same students who you just saw brought to you in the previous segment of Education Today. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Education Today. Welcome to the opposite side of the table, and in some cases the opposite side of the camera. Why don't you introduce yourselves for our viewers?
I'm Emily Mitchell.
I'm Victor Carlesi.
And I'm Shannon Walker.
And these all, of course, are TV production students from the district. And are you guys all seniors this year?
I'm a junior.
I'm also a junior.
I'm a senior.
Okay, good. And so we got a couple of juniors here. I guess you guys are looking forward to taking TV production 2 next year, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right, well, it's worth mentioning today is the second time that this particular class has been down here, and today that they were challenged with a couple of new things we threw on their plate. We had, of course, Victor and Emily host our show, and Shannon, who this is already her second year being down here at the studio with us, and we had her go ahead and direct the show today. So why don't you guys talk about your experiences? Shannon, we'll start with you, and why don't you talk about what it was like instead of being in a traditional position, instead directing today?
It was a little different, definitely. It was a lot more stressful, I would say, just because I'm not really used to having that much authority, I guess, in the studio. But it was a lot of fun. I was glad that I got to work with the hosts and work with our guests that we had, and everybody back in the booth was pretty good with working with me, so it was a lot of fun.
Okay, good. It's good to hear. And for you two, why don't you talk about what it was like hosting, being in front of the camera under our bright spotlights?
Well, I did the morning announcements at our school, so I figured this would be something I'd be interested in. But then again, if you mess up in front of the school, it's not as big as messing up in front of whoever is watching this program, so there's a lot more pressure.
And I've never hosted anything in my life, so this is kind of a nerve-wracking experience. But I did do the musical, so I'm kind of used to the stage lights being around 100 degrees, so I think it went pretty well.
You weren't sweating it up here, literally.
I was, but that's just a thing that goes with my life. So.
Okay, something you guys are all used to. Well, why don't we talk about specifically the challenge that you guys saw or the challenge that you guys experienced here? You talked about what it was like doing it, so what was the challenging aspect of it?
For me, it was getting everything coordinated, getting the hosts and everyone to just kind of relax on the camera and getting everyone to look decently natural, like it was something like they were just sitting around and talking, and then coordinating the switching in the back was probably the hardest part for me. It was just getting them to switch whenever I thought it should switch to different cameras. I think that was probably the most challenging.
For me, it was just the independence that you had. You just had to figure things out. You couldn't ask about every little thing. You just had to figure things out by yourself and put in your input to what the people said. That was a harder thinking on my feet. That was harder for me.
I agree with Victor.
And this is the first year that I've hosted this program. And I did some stuff in college, but yeah, it is a little challenging because you have to be able to listen to what the guests are saying. And then even if you're not very knowledgeable about it, you have to be able to kind of, build off of it and have a conversation with them. So that ends up being a little bit difficult sometimes, but you guys handled yourselves pretty well, I think. Do you guys think you want to give it another shot again? You have 2 more visits to our wonderful TV studio down here.
Definitely. That'd be cool.
Yeah, give it another try. You give it another shot directing.
Absolutely. Hopefully do a better job next time.
Well, it's a learning experience. And why don't you guys, we have a couple of minutes here, so why don't you guys talk about what it's like. Shannon, I know, like we mentioned, you've been here last year, and for Emily and Victor, you guys, the first year you've been down here. So why don't you talk a little bit about what it's like, when you first got down here and experiencing what this was all about, and then what it was like working with the equipment or learning it and starting to get your feet wet in that nature.
Well, what we do at our school, it's just when you come here, it takes it to a whole new level. It applies what we learned there into what actually goes on in the world and how we can use what we're learning in our school for future references and a bigger experience.
For me, it was just like finding out how all these things that you don't even think about work. You just think it's a camera and then there's people in front of it. But there's really a lot of stuff that goes behind it. And I liked finding that kind of stuff out.
I was going to ask, and maybe you can build off of this too, Shannon, because I know that over the last couple of years we talked about some different things along the way. And maybe build off of the first question, that previous question I asked, but also a little bit about, how, if the program is what you expected it was going to be when you started into it.
I don't think it's really what I expected it to be. Like, I think I was kind of naive whenever I first came up here last year, kind of like Victor kind of said. You don't really understand everything that goes into a show until you can come down here and see everything and try to coordinate everything yourself. And I think that's good for me this year, getting to direct a little bit, trying to find out the magic increments of everything to make everything work perfectly. And I think that was just the coolest thing for me, was just learning how to do all that.
Okay. And of course your experiences then, like when you first came down, just the experience of working with the equipment.
Yeah, it was really intimidating when I first got here, because you would look at like even the simplest thing like the teleprompter, and you would look at the software for it and just kind of, oh, how does this work? And then eventually you reach a point where you're like, oh, that's probably the easiest thing in this studio. And then you move on to different things like audio board and switching, and it gets more complicated, but it gets more fun as it gets more complicated.
Right. Yeah, you build off of things, and as you get more advanced and experiencing what we're doing down here, then it becomes a little bit better. And I tell all the classes the first time they come down, and like I told you guys, that the first day you guys are down here, it's kind of boring. It's more of me dictating to you about what everything is. It's all verbal, but then after that it becomes you guys doing it all hands-on and moving on from there. So for you two then, what was it, is coming down here, when you signed up for TV production, let's put it this way, what were you expecting it to be, or is what you've experienced what you kind of thought you were going to be getting out of it?
Well, prior to TV production, like I had made short promos, music videos, just fun stuff on my own. And then coming here, you're like, wow, what I'm doing is nothing compared to this. There's so much more to it. And the first time I was here, I was on the other end of the camera running the equipment, so I got to experience that. And then this time, I was hosting it, so on this end of the camera, and you experience both aspects and how much really goes into one production.
Mm-hmm. And for me, I had zero experience in anything like the cameras or any of the editing. I don't know, I was just really never good at it. And probably the most complicated thing was me trying to master the new Windows, the Microsoft, which was a big surprise for me. I always got really upset about that kind of stuff. But this I actually was really interested in because it's a different way of like showing your creativity, because I do art, like traditional like painting and stuff like that. But this is truly an art form, you know, you can just do whatever you think would look cool on camera, I guess.
All right. And then maybe to kind of wrap up a little bit, is this something in some way, shape, or form related to what you guys might want to do once you graduate, move on to college, or independent productions such as, you know, like filming birthday parties and things like that nature? So is this related to anything you might see yourself doing in the future?
I've actually been accepted to the Art Institute of Pittsburgh for digital filmmaking and video production. So I'll start there next summer and hopefully go somewhere with that. I'm looking more into like the independent film side than the TV side, but it's definitely all related and it's definitely helpful.
Okay, good.
For me, I'm really undecided, so it could possibly be something I'd want to pursue in the future, so I don't know yet.
Also for me, it's a possibility. Like, as for now, I'm still doing productions on my own for fun, so it's probably always going to be a hobby, at least.
Okay, and that's going to be our show for today. And once again, thank you guys for coming down. And we hope that you join us again for another look at the Armstrong School District in next week's episode of Education Today. For more information about the district, visit our website, and have a great week.